Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Happy Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this lesson, still under coordinate geometry, we are looking at the midpoint of a line segment. The midpoint of the line or a line segment. Then by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use the midpoint formula to find a point that is exactly halfway between two given points on a coordinate plane. And then you could also use this knowledge to solve practical problems as well. So without much ado, let's quickly look into it. So looking at what you have on your screen here, I have line segment AB, and this line segment is what we have over here, this one here, you see. So with this line, we actually want its middle, you see. Then I've pointed out its middle to be this M over here. Now, how do we get it? So you just have this straight line over here. If you know its magnitude, you can just divide it into two, because we are saying the midpoint is what? Halfway through it, you see. And by so doing, that gives me what? This point over here, which is exactly in the middle, you see. But we want to solve it so that it will be more accurate. Hence, we have formulas we use to do that. Okay. So if you have a point A, which has coordinates x, y. So point A has coordinates x and then y. And then you have another point B, which has coordinates. So let me make this one x1, y1. And then point B has coordinates x2 and then y2. Okay. Then we say the midpoint of these 2 points, that is the halfway point, is giving us the sum of their x values. So x1, x2, all over 2, and then the sum of their y values all over 2 as well. You see, the order doesn't really matter. So it can be x2 plus x1 over 2, then y2 plus y1 over 2. The most important thing is you want the average of what? The two values. And that is just it. You see, so this here becomes the x coordinate of the midpoint, whilst this here becomes the y coordinate of the midpoint. Let's solve some examples and see what this means. So looking at this first example here, we have to find the midpoint of the line segment joining the point A, which coordinates 2, 4, and then B with coordinates 6, 8. So we just want the coordinate of the middle of this line over here. You see that? And we know the midpoint formula. So midpoint is giving us what? The sum of the x values. So x1, x2 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is going to give us the coordinate of the midpoint. But we do know that our A was given to us as 2, 4, whilst B was also given to us as 6, 8. So we need to identify what our x1 is going to be. So this is going to be my x1, y1, then my x2, y2. Then all you need to do now is to do your substitution. So the midpoint that we are looking for is actually going to be the sum of the x value. So this plus what? Plus this over here. So that you have a 2 plus 6 divided by 2. And then comma, your 4 plus 8 also divided by 2. You see? And we know our 2 plus 6 divided by 2 gives us an 8 over 2. 8 over 2 gives us a 4. And then 4 plus 8 divided by 2 gives us a 12 over 2, which gives us a 6. So this here becomes what? The midpoint of AB. Very simple and then direct. You get it? So just understand the formula. If you want the midpoint of any two set of points or a line segment, find the average between the x's and then that of the y. Let's take some few more examples. So for this question here, it says we have to find the midpoint of the line joining the segment, find the midpoint of the line segment joining this P and then Q over here. So the same procedure. We know our solution is going to be what? The same formula. You see? So take note of what you are going to let your x1 and then y1 and then what have you be. So if you have our P being what? -3 and then 5, and then my Q being a 1 and then -1, then I'm going to say this here is going to be my x1, y1, and then my x2, y2 is going to be this. So this simply implies that my midpoint is then going to be my x1, which is -3 plus 1 over 2, and then that of your 5 and then -1. So 5 plus -1 over 2. This simply means you should know your way out of integers, because if your integer addition and simplification isn't that good, you might get some mistakes and then some troubles here. -3 plus 1 gives us a -2, so you have -2 over 2. Then 5 plus -1 gives us a 4 over 2. You see, and evaluating this further, we are going to get a -1, 2, which then becomes the midpoint of the line that joins what? This segment. So this here is going to be our very last question, and then I'll give some exercises. And for that note, you can pause and then try it out to see if you understand or not. So just as always, you know our solution is given by what? The midpoint formula, which says you should find the average of the x and then the y. Hence, if we have the coordinate of x being -4, -6, and then that of y being what? 2, 0. Then let me take note of my x1 and then y1. So x1, y1, and then x2, y2. And then quickly do my substitution. So I'm going to say my midpoint is then going to be what? My -4 plus 2. That is my x values divided by 2. Then my -6 from here plus 0 from here divided by 2. That is you doing your substitution. -4 plus 2 gives us a what? A -2. And -2 over 2 then gives us a -1. Then we have -6 plus 0, which gives us a -6, divided by 2 gives us a -3. This becomes the midpoint of the line connecting x and y. So on that note, that ends our lesson on what? Finding the midpoint of 2 points, okay, or a line segment. Now, as usual, I'll leave you with some exercises you can try just to test your understanding. The first one are just simple and straightforward. Whilst this second one needs you to apply certain concepts on geometry as well. This is How Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If this is your first time and you always want to be notified anytime I release a video, you can choose to subscribe. That is if you so do wish. And you'd receive notification anytime I receive or release a new lesson video. Stay safe and stay blessed. And I do hope this video would help in your learning journey. Bye bye for now, and see you in our next lesson.